Hey everybody, it is the evening, 6:18. We're going to take a look at the S&P 500 getting ready for June 19th and the Fed Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So we have some time to trade in the morning. Let's think about if we're going to get a little bit more Fed drift before that, if we're going to just sort of sit in place and trade inside this big range that we made today, or if we're going to explore back down into this new gap that we made when we gapped open today. So we were stuck for a long time underneath this 28.92.15 level. And I have been saying that, if we get a close above it, that's going to signal that we're going to go ahead and fill this gap. But I also hinted, I think I mentioned, I hope I did. I hope this isn't just something that I was thinking in my head and never, um, never communicated to you guys. But I've been thinking that, with all of this clear, um, resistance at closing above this 28.92 level, that they're just going to come in one day and gap us up open. And sure enough, that's what happened today. So we gapped up open. Our low of the day held at 29.05, and we quickly pushed on through the existing June high, which happened last week here at 29.10. And we just kept on going, and we just about filled that gap that existed above from 29.13 to 29.32. That's this gap over here from the May 7th open, gap down open, back to the May 6th close at 29.32.47. High today got to 29.30.79. So if we come in tomorrow and get a little bit further drift, maybe we're going to fill this gap and work our way up towards 29.40. Um, the big 20, the September 2018 all-time high was at 29.40.91. Our all-time closing high for the S&P was on April 30th at 29.45. So that gives you sort of an idea of the importance of the 29.40 handle. And you can see how it was sort of batted back and forth here quite a bit at the end of April and the beginning of May. And incidentally, our all-time high that we set in the first place was on May 1st, and that was our last Fed meeting. So it would be very fitting if we came in and if we got what we wanted out of the Fed. We got the word patience removed from the statement. If the word patience is removed from the statement, that will set off the algos, and I do believe that we will trade quickly on up to at least a nominal new all-time high. Digest it, and then maybe come in on Thursday and start that grind up towards 3,000. A nominal new all-time high, maybe taking a little look above that. Right now there's a 5 to 5.5 point spread with the new ES contract. So hitting 29.61 on ES now is only going to mean about 29.56 or so on the S&P. So that's where we might get that little nominal and come in on Thursday and power through our 80 handle rule levels. I gave you a little list of levels. So I started giving that to you yesterday, and I posted it again today to give you some ideas for further upside targets as well as further downside targets. And I'll make sure that gets into this new thread for Wednesday as well. Okay, so that would be the upside stuff. Something that happened today that normally would get me kind of bearish is that we traded down below the halfway back during the lunchtime grind. And then at the end of the day, we came back above that halfway back point, but then we fell off into the close and closed below it. So we closed just below the halfway back on the day. The halfway back was 29.18.12, and we closed at 29.17.75. So if we come in tomorrow and we never really, we have a big struggle here right in the center of the day's range, and that statement comes out and we flush on the statement because maybe the word patience is in there, or maybe the algos are planning on flushing us anyway, just to clear the decks and before bouncing back up. This will have been a really great clue for us to learn a lesson from in the future, because normally this kind of a selling tail on top of a daily candle and then closing below, this is a selling top 101. But as soon as the bell rang and we closed, we did see ES drift up quite a bit. So maybe the S&P 500 chart wanted to look bearish, but as soon as that bell was rung, the ES traders would take. Maybe this will have been, nothing to worry about. If we are going to see some further downside, now we have this big gap to fill back to Monday's close. Monday's close is 28.8967, and that would drag us back down underneath this 28.92 level. Our happened on the open today that helped sort of add jet fuel to this run today. That's going to rise all the way up into here as well. So that's all going to be like a magnetic force that could drag us down if there's any kind of negative reaction or any kind of selling plan, no matter what, on release of the Fed statement. I would not worry if, if this holds. This is probably going to be a great dip to buy. But if they leave that word patience in there and Powell acts like a total dick at the press conference, we're gonna end up breaking this 10-day simple moving average, and we're going to be down here testing the 50-day again. For the last 2 weeks, this has been sort of our line of defense. We've still got a tiny little bit of gap left to fill down here, just like we have this tiny little bit of gap to fill up here still. We're going to fill that, we're going to break that, and then we're going to end up trading all the way down here and filling in this gap all the way back to 28.43 and testing our 20-day simple moving average. I don't think that'll all happen tomorrow. I think that would be something where, we probably, we test the 10-day, maybe close above the 50-day, and if they digest it negatively overnight, we come in, we gap down open below the 50-day, and we go on, we go to town on here. I just kind of am showing the roadmap here, sort of cordoning things off at 29.65 up above and 2800 down below, because I sort of see this as a really, truly great big range, and there's lots and lots of stuff in here, lots of things that could happen, to the downside. If there's some kind of crazy, crazy day tomorrow, as crazy as it could possibly be, I highly doubt that we would break down lower than 2800. So I just want to give you a readable chart that gives you plenty to chew on here, and I think you've got that here in that. Okay, I hope this gave you the information you need to walk into tomorrow and feel confident about which way things are going to go. And have a good rest of your evening, and send me direct messages if you have any questions.